Hello there, I'm the Biblical Translator and I apologise for the filter. It would not allow me to do a video without selecting a filter of some sort. It was giving me 15 seconds. So forgive me for that. Today's scripture is taken from 1 Peter 2:9, and I wanted to kind of focus on how people are feeling. Do we feel worthy or do we feel unworthy? A lot of us, because of our past experiences, we feel unworthy. Because of the mistakes that we've made, we feel unworthy. Because we feel people are going to judge us, we feel unworthy. We wonder whether or not an individual will accept us, knowing our past, and so that makes us feel unworthy. It makes us accept substandard relationships when we feel as though at our core we are not clean, kind people. We're dirty, we've been abused, we've been victim of some kind of trauma, we've been exploited, all of these bad things that happen to people, young boys being gang raped and young girls being gang raped and exploited and trafficked, and then they're left out in the cold to fend for themselves. Many of them do not have anyone to support them. They don't have anyone to talk to. Instead, they meet up with people who condemn them. And if they do find somebody who is out to support or at least listen to them, those same people tend to re-victimize them and exploit them even further. Now, 1 Peter 2:9 says, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of the darkness into the wonderful light." No matter how dark your past is, you can come out into the light. You do not have to condemn yourself for situations you were not responsible for. Under the age of 18, you are vulnerable. Your brain hasn't engaged enough to make proper decisions. So do not blame yourself for any situation that has happened to you. A lot of times it's our parents who have let us down. They've neglected us. They've decided to pursue their own dreams. They've left us with all and sundry. They've left us with carers who do not care. Or they've put you in a foster home, or they've even sold you out themselves because they need money. Parents are not what they used to be, or maybe they were always like this, it's just that it's brought out in the open. But parents, we have high expectations of them to love us, to nurture us, to meet our needs, and when they don't, we feel deprived, we feel betrayed. And so we've got so many young people growing up with parents who do not care, who just want to get rid of them, who shut them off in a room and give them something to distract themselves so they don't have to bother with them. Or they give them money so that can take care of whatever immediate needs that they have. But you'll find that people who suffer from adverse childhood experiences, which is what this is, experiences that are adverse to the young person's health and well-being. They are, whether they can be rich or they can be poor. Some people think, oh, if you've got money and you're a young person, you're okay. But young people who are rich feel neglected and they feel paid for and they are not happy. And so they grow up and they can be victimized and re-victimized in the same way as poor people are. And so we have to ask ourselves, if you have been traumatized, who did you go to? When you went to that person, were they able to support you? If they didn't support you, were they condemning you? And it makes a difference, because if you have support when you go through trauma, you're able to pull on your internal reserves and get through it. But if you are condemned, when you try to disclose what's happened, you're more likely to suppress from sharing it with anybody. You're more likely to want to try and get somebody who is going to listen, who is going to validate you, who is going to show you some kind of support, whether it's real or imagined. all you want is somebody to say you are okay, despite what you've been through. You've just been gang raped, and you feel dirty, and you feel discarded. Your body feels unclean, and then you get somebody who says, "Oh, that doesn't matter. I'll take care of you. I won't. You don't have to worry about anything. I'll look after you." And you go to that person, and that person re-victimizes you. And that's what happens in a lot of situations. This silly little filter that makes my eyebrows jump up and down. It's so annoying. But anyway, when you're trying to support somebody who's had these adverse childhood experiences, what do you do? As an adult, who might be a spouse, what you need to do is not try to walk in their shoes. Try not to take it on, because you'll end up, it can burn you out and it can impact you. So what you can do is you can attune with them, and you can understand where they're coming from, and you can reassure them that they feel safe, and you can listen to them. But it's just about making sure that they know that you are there to help them and to relieve them of some of that trauma just by listening. And we're not asking you to rescue anyone. What we're asking you to do is attune and ask them if they feel safe, or do they look safe? Do you feel safe with them? And once you can let them know that, look, that happened in the past, that's just a memory. Where you are now, you are safe now, and that's what you need to kind of focus on. And it won't happen in a day or a month, but they just constantly need to feel safe. And if you're an important person in their lives, you can help them feel safe. Expectations of parents, I've done that. Time displacement disorder. Trauma doesn't stay in the past. Some people, they think, oh, that happened so many years ago. Our parents, when they were leaving us with all and sundry, especially West Indian parents, they left us with all and sundry so that they could get a job and so that they could work, not thinking about the impact it had on us. As far as they were concerned, we were young children, we wouldn't know any difference, we would forget it, and they didn't realise that, how that impacted our stability as adults. So what happens is that even in the present, even though that happened in the past, those experiences of being neglected, of being abandoned, they replay themselves in our minds as adult until we've resolved it, until somebody can kind of fit in with us and fit like a glove our spiritual other, whoever that person is, who can help us feel whole, who can help us feel as though we are needed, we are supported, we are being nurtured. So it doesn't stay in the past, it reinvents itself in the body, and that can cause repetitive abuse if you do not meet your correct fit. There are so many people, sometimes we fit ourselves to other people who are not good for us, and if somebody is not good for you and you try to fit yourself in with them, you are going to feel more abused, and that wound is going to keep coming back again. So this is about how you feel. 1 Peter 3:4 says, "But let your adorning be the hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which in God's sight is very precious." And I think that is so beautiful, because what that's talking about is your inner beauty. Forget about what you've been through. Well, you not necessarily forget about it, but it's not what you've been through. That does not make you who you are. You are very precious in God's sight. And all of those things, those external incidences where people have imposed and encroached on your body and encroached in your space and encroached in your life, they do not make you who you are. Your inner beauty shines through, and that is what is important, and that is what you must remember. You must remember who you are. You are not your mistakes. You are not what's happened to you. You are precious in God's sight, and you must be precious in your own sight.